Good evening, tubers. Matt and Roy back once again, back to you with day 4 of the week-long live streaming event. And I thought we'd switch it up a little bit tonight. I'm going to start with reading a Bible verse from the Bible Word Finds. I get these at Dollar Tree a lot. They're put out by Kappa Puzzles. And I was going through it, and I went on puzzle 48. So this is Matthew 1, verse 20. And I'm going to read this, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. Now, this is a verse I like because basically it's talking about the Immaculate Conception of Jesus Christ. Even though Joseph and Mary were basically husband and wife, Jesus was not Joseph's son. He was his stepson because, of course, Mary was born of a virgin. So just thought I'd share that with you guys real quick. I know some of you are not Christian, but those of you that are will definitely appreciate that verse. How is everybody doing tonight? Let's see what we got going on. Hello from Michael Gardner, Nick Roberts, George Blakely. Eric Brunhammer says ding, 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 ding. Mark Covington, hey Matt, for having this week-long live stream, you've just won yourself a prize. Well, you know what? I won the prize because you're here. Give the stream a like, guys. Well, thank you, Nick. So, I'm going to get to some of these garage sale finds, but it's not going to be this moment. You guys are going to have to wait a little bit longer. Before I started the stream tonight, I was actually watching this show. It's a British show. It's called Should I Send My Kid to Fat Camp? Also called I Know What You Weighed Last Summer. It's kind of like one of those combo BBC shows. And, you know, I'm looking at this show, I'm watching it, and yeah, a lot of these kids are significantly overweight. But then I saw a couple of girls. One in particular was this girl named Riyat from Israel. And she's there. Her family sent her there under false pretenses. They actually told her she was going to summer camp abroad in England. But when she got there, she found out it was a fat camp. Now, she is slightly overweight. When I say slightly overweight, I would not even classify this girl as obese. She's probably maybe in the just slightly overweight category, like where, you know, overweight is between 25 and 30%, you know, fat, body fat. She's probably sitting at maybe 27 or 28%. So what I really don't like about these shows is the fact that they're portraying all of these kids as being in real trouble. Be honest with you, watching this, a lot of these kids are not even in the obese category. They're just in the overweight category, which is honestly where I'm still at right now. So I think what we need to do is reevaluate who we're calling overweight or obese. You know, there is a difference. If you're in the overweight category, it's really just a caution. You need to know that you are technically weigh more than you should, but you're not in real danger. Whereas when you start getting into the obese, and then of course the morbidly obese, which is 40% body fat, obese being 30%, then yeah, you could be in some real trouble. But I think we're giving these kids some complexes by classifying them as being in trouble when they're really not. You know, you guys can let me know what you think, but that's just the way I feel about it. Sloth asks, what do you think of 5x4 and 4x3 LCD monitors? He's referring to the older style square monitors, non-widescreen. They have their place. Believe it or not, I always like to keep a few of them on hand because a lot of my customers are work from home people that do like data entry, medical billing and coding, and believe it or not, they prefer those aspect ratio monitors to the widescreen ones, mainly because the versions of Office they have to use, like I think a lot of them are using Office 2003, 2007, were designed to work with the older monitors. But other than that, unless you're doing something proprietary like that, nowadays you'll go with a widescreen because that's pretty much what all the websites online are designed for. Ha! Eric said, tonight I've been watching the British Top Gear on Motor Trend on demand. You want to know what? Dad and I were watching it too. They were counting down the top 5 worst cars of all times. One was a Rolls Royce Phantom, an older one that I never even knew existed. I think another one was the Ford GT, the one they had out like in 2005. And then the third one was some Mercedes that I never even heard of before. I didn't really get a chance to watch the whole thing, but it was kind of interesting. I would have classified all of those as bad, though. I mean, maybe they weren't exactly what they could have been, but to say that a car is bad and to go even further than that and say it's the worst car of all time, to me, not only does it have to have like cosmetic and flaws in the suspension, but it has to have some severe mechanical issues, engine problems, transmission problems, and suspension problems. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think they really made their case for a lot of these cars, except for the Fiat. I must say I am not a big fan of Fiats. Reviews for Noobs says, I'm 160 to 165 pounds. Okay, well, you got to give me more than that. And the reason is I need to know your height. Because if I know your height, then I can help you figure out what your BMI should be or what it is now, and then I can help you figure out what it should be. I'm sorry, again, I'm a little tired, so you got to kind of bear with me again tonight. I've been doing a lot of exercising. I got up early this morning, 6:30, had my cup of coffee, and then rode my bike up to breakfast, which I do every Saturday because I go to our local restaurant and I get myself the big vegetarian skillet with the potatoes, the zucchini, the onions, peppers, mushrooms with cheese and eggs on top, and then grits on the side. So for me, that's a really big breakfast. So I want to at least work that off. So I went bike rode to there, had breakfast with the car club, went out and actually bike rode to a few garage sales. So I had probably about a 10-mile bike ride under my belt. Then I got home, started working on all those computers that I picked up when we were in New York, running up and down the stairs. And I can give you guys a running total because of my Fitbit. 17,453 steps, 4,078 calories burned, 21 floors. In other words, I went up and down stairs 21 times. And that is not including the 10-mile bike ride. So I could tell you right now, I'm pretty tired. But I promised you guys a week of live streams. And yes, we are going to do an hour-long live stream tonight, at least. Jeremy Clarkson, yeah, he was on there too. Sam Hodgson, I managed to pick up a Dell Optiplex XE2, basically a 9020 with a Core i7 4970 for 50 pounds. It was listed in the wrong category on eBay. I love that. I cannot tell you how many deals I've gotten on mainly computer components because they were miscategorized. They were either categorized as computer systems or they were put into something weird like games and toys or electronic components. But yeah, you can get some really good deals on eBay if you find stuff that's miscategorized. But you have to be willing to search for it. It takes time. Eric Brunhammer, they put all seasons of 2003 and up on MTOD, Motor Trend on Demand. So I started watching from the beginning of what they had. I love the old Top Gears. I was not a big fan when they went to the American version. It was okay, but it didn't have the same charm as the British version did. And that's something that really grinds my gears, as Peter Griffin would say. They seem to take all the good British shows and bring them here and Americanize them. And yes, sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't. A great example, if you guys are old enough, you may remember the TV show Three's Company. Well, believe it or not, that started out over in England as Man About the House. And then the Ropers in England, the spinoff of Three's Company, started out as George and Mildred. And in my opinion, at least, both the British versions of those shows were far superior to the American versions. And there was even before there was Sanford and Son, which was another old 1970s show. Believe it or not, that was borrowed from a British show called Steptoe and Son. So, and I'm sure you Brits over there, Sam Hodgson, you probably back me up on this. The British versions of these shows were much better than the American versions. At least the majority of them were. Mark Covington goes, I'm 5'9" and 210 pounds. I'll take a minute and look that up real quick. And I always use the more realistic BMI calculator. There we go. Oh, don't tell me they took it down. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I'll figure this out for you, Mark. So 210 pounds, 5 feet, 9 inches tall. So your BMI right now, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, by the way, is 30.5. So you are just slightly in that, what they would call the obese category, which is really good news because if you just lost, well, let's say you lost 10 pounds. Let's say you got down to 200, which is totally doable, by the way. Then you would be at a body weight of 29%. So you would be in just the overweight category. So that's good news, Mark. Work on losing about 10 pounds to start, and then maybe keep going after that. Just kind of see how you feel. Yes, Eric. I didn't know if you wanted to share that on here or not. I know he'd been suffering with some tendonitis, and yeah, that can be really painful. You just got to be careful. Kind of the only thing you can do after you aggravate a tendon is to rest it. There's no like exercise, medication, massage. None of that works with tendons. They literally just need to heal on their own. I-386, when I change jobs, I am going to get some money and pay bills off. Then put that back in the savings. Then save to build a new computer, maybe get a new laptop and give my laptop I have now to my dad. It's a great idea, great plan. And I'm always a proponent of saving. I always have what they call an emergency fund. Those of you guys that watch Dave Ramsey always talk about that. Your emergency fund should be about $1,000 according to Dave Ramsey, or I guess if you're in England, it could be whatever the equivalent of that is in pounds or whatever the equivalent is in your country. But the idea of that, behind that, is you want to make sure that you have some money set aside for an emergency. You know, you don't want to have be living paycheck to paycheck like the majority of this country and a lot of other countries, and have something come up like a breakdown, like maybe your car breaks down, and not be able to pay for it. Now, yeah, most people have credit cards, but you don't want to have to rely on those either, because let's face it, those credit card balances can get up there pretty quick. And I've been there myself in the past, and I'll never do that again. Believe me, it just takes too long to pay that down. But I do use credit cards. I didn't want anybody to think I don't. But I make sure that I pay the balance off usually within a few months, 2 to 3 months. Eric Brunhammer, I'm looking at buying a refurbished GoPro Hero 5 kit from eBay to help with my live streams. I should sell you mine. I never even used the thing. I bought a GoPro Hero 5 about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I think I've used it twice. I have not seen the American Top Gear since Matt LeBlanc took over. I might have to give it another try. To be perfectly honest with you, I just don't watch TV that much. The only TV I watch is late at night when I'm lying in bed, and usually it's Amazon Prime TV on my Fire Stick. And it's usually old stuff. Like lately, I've been binge watching the old Lucy Show episodes, or Hunter if I feel like watching something more manly. There was a show on PBS. This is from I-386, by the way, or used to be. They had a foreign accent. The man reminded me of Archie Bunker. Yes, All in the Family was also borrowed or stolen, either way you look at it, from a British show. And I'm not sure what the name of it was, but I'm pretty sure that's what you were probably watching. Sam Hodgson asks, would you ever visit the UK? Absolutely. I don't know if you ever hear when I talked about this, but other than the United States, the only country I've ever visited was Canada. And that's just because that's where my father was born. We used to visit my grandparents when they were alive. But the next country that I visit is definitely going to be the UK. I've always wanted to go over to England. I find the culture over there fascinating. I'm sure it'd probably take me a little bit to get used to the not being able to have iced tea, because I am a big iced tea drinker, unsweet, of course, unsweet. And but you know what? The few times that I've had like hot tea, I didn't mind it. Like I used to get the Bigelow Bergamot Earl Grey hot tea, and I actually love that. Kind of reminds me, I should get back into hot tea again, because it's actually better for you, believe it or not, to drink hot tea over iced tea. It actually helps your digestion a lot better than anything cold. And that's why, here's a fun fact, the United States and Canada and maybe Mexico to an extent are the only countries in the world, for the most part, that drink beverages cold. England, most European countries, and I think Middle East, it's the same way. Most everything they drink is either hot or room temperature. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, Sam, but I think you guys over in the UK usually drink your like beers and your soft drink sodas. All that's always drank warm as well. Michael Garner says, "Go to Ireland." Well, if I go to England or I go to the UK, then I would probably try to make it a British Isles trip. So it would be what England, Scotland, Ireland, and maybe even Wales if I got a chance to. I'd really like to go to Scotland because I actually have Scottish heritage in my family on my dad's side. Oh, excuse me. Let me take a sip of water here. Room temperature beer is definitely a Limmy thing, LOL. Actually, don't really mind it. I've had beer at room temperature. It gets you inebriated faster. I'm not going to say much more than that, but basically it does than cold beer. But it's not that I don't like the taste. I mean, if I had a choice, yeah, I would definitely have cold beer. But if I had to drink it warm, it wouldn't bother me. But really, honestly, I don't drink beer hardly ever. I can't even tell you the last time I had beer. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago. What I do enjoy on occasion, however, are Bloody Marys. Basically vodka, some form of tomato juice or V8. Usually I'll put V8 in there and then Tabasco sauce. That's kind of like one of my guilty pleasures. And that I'll probably have once, maybe twice a month. But other than that, I'm just not much of a drinker. Michael Gardner can't stomach beer. Well, you're in good company because I can't really either. And if it is a beer, if I do have a beer, the only one I like is Molson Canadian. Now there are different Molsons. There's a Molson that they sell here in the States that's just regular, just called Molson, I think. And then there's Molson Canadian, and there is a difference. You can get Molson Canadian in the States, but if you drank one and then drank the other, you can definitely tell that the Molson Canadian is a more robust, darker, almost like a lager, versus the regular Molson that they sell here. And I don't know the proper name for that one, but that's more of an Americanized beer, so a lighter, not an amber lager, but more of just like a basic beer, like what would it be, Bush beer or Budweiser. Not saying that that beer isn't good. If that's what you like, that's fine. But me personally, I prefer the more robust Canadian style beers. Mark Hovenian, I don't consume any kind of alcohol. Good man. If you don't consume alcohol, I have immense respect for you, because we've had a lot of that in our family. It's like Eric hasn't drank in over 15 years. Again, that's great. And I am not I am not against drinking. It is true, being a Christian, a lot of Christians don't believe in drinking, but it does say in the Bible, it doesn't specifically forbid drinking in the Bible. It does say it's a sin to become inebriated or get drunk, but it is not a sin to drink. Uh, Depending on what church you go to, those scriptures, and I don't have them in front of me, but those scriptures can be interpreted in many ways. But that's the way I feel about it. It's okay to have a drink once in a while, but don't get drunk. Because if you do get drunk, then yeah, that is considered a sin. It's not really a good thing to do. I mean, I never understood the allure of wanting to get drunk, other than maybe wanting to forget your problems for a short time. But that's all it is, a short time. And during the time that you're drunk, you kind of act like a jackass. You really do. I mean, I've seen it so much in my family that it's something I get very passionate about. And it's not something I ever want to have to see again. All right, I'm changing gears because now I'm just starting to sound angry. All right, we're going to give it a few more minutes, and I'm going to get to these garage sale finds. I'm actually surprised nobody said anything yet, but we're going to do it. We're going to do the garage sale finds at the 30-minute mark. Yeah, we're moving on from that, because I just honestly I don't want to get into a whole debate about should we drink, shouldn't we drink, how much should we drink. Let's figure something else to talk about. Oh boy. Mark Covington was asking about garage sales. Oh, here we go. I don't know how I missed that. When do you think the yard sales will end for the season? Well, around here, not until January or February. The way the weather is in southern part of Virginia, believe it or not, garage sale season usually goes till about maybe February 15th, when it really starts to get cold. Though in January, they do tend to start tapering off. And to be honest with you, September, August and September are the worst months, because people are on vacation in August, and in September you have back to school. They just do not have, they just don't have time to put stuff out and do garage sales. But as October, November, December roll around, yeah, they'll be back in full swing, at least in our area. Go away. Are you a fan of Trump? Opinions on Mexico? I assume you meant to say Mexico. Well, I voted for him. Do I like? See, here's the thing. I like Trump's policies. I think what he's doing is very good for America. He's bringing industry back. He's trying to balance the budget as much as anybody can. He's opening up factories in the Midwest. But I don't like him as a person. I think he is a person that does not have great character, if that makes any sense to you. Would I vote for him again when he runs? Probably, because what I'm looking for is somebody that can run the country. And if I was old enough to vote for Bill Clinton when he ran, I would have voted for him. And look what he turned out to be. You got to remember there's two sides to this. There's the political side or the business side where Trump is immensely qualified because he's run multi-billion-dollar business. The country is like a business, and that's why I voted for him, basically, because I knew that he'd be able to run the country. If he ran it like he runs a business and not like you're supposed to run a country, then yeah, you're going to do a lot better. As for Mexico, I mean, I don't know what you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at that because I really don't know what else you want me to say about that. Oh, Aunt Lisa's here. Lisa, how you doing? He loves our nation. He does. Absolutely. Oh, I love the heart too. Thank you. Eric goes, right now I see people focus on the clown car of the Democrat debates, but is anyone paying attention to the Republican clown car? Yeah, I get what you're saying there. And to be perfectly honest, I lean more to the right. I am not registered as a Republican. I am not registered as a Democrat. I am, basically middle of the road. I could go either way, but if you had to twist my arm, I am definitely a little more right than I am left, if that makes any sense. Go away asks, he says, I love Trump. Why are you drinking out of a milk carton? Oh, no, it's not a milk carton. It's just a jug of water. You can see it right there. It's kind of like my thing. I drink a lot of water because you're supposed to, and I use this to honestly gauge how much water I drink. I make sure I drink at least a gallon of water a day, and that's basically what this is. Good question, by the way. We're freezing here in New York. What's the temperature up there? We're like sitting at 75 degrees right now. 40s and 50s. Oh, please send it down here. I want to see those temperatures because it is so hard for me to bike ride when it's 80, 90 degrees. And that's what it's been here. I still do it. It's not fun. I sweat like a pig. I've actually sweat through 2 shirts today. But when it gets down in the 60s and 70s, then I'll be good. I could probably bike 20 miles with that kind of weather. But yeah, I mean, if you're not doing anything, then that is pretty cold if you're not exercising. Michael Garner says left wing, right wing is a farce. It's becoming one because it's so polarized right now. I mean, it used to be that you had Republicans and Democrats, but now you have conservatives and progressives. And the difference is like Republicans and Democrats are maybe here on that line, whereas conservatives and progressives are like that. And basically that's bad for the country because when you get that polarized, nothing gets done. And at this point, it is almost 50-50. When you look at our electoral college, if you count the electoral college, which they do, that's without that, we would be in real trouble. When you count the electoral college, the country is almost split 50-50, conservatives and progressives. And until we figure out a solution, lots not going to get done. I mean, we've had this problem now for many years, and I wish I had the answer. If I had the answer, I'd be a billionaire right now. Mark Covington, hey, Matt, if you're looking for another computer, Best Buy here in Newport News has an HP, I believe, on clearance for less than $400. I'm not looking for another one myself, but I appreciate that. I'll let somebody know. If you get a chance, send me the specifications on that. George Blakely, 79 degrees. Not too bad, but though this late at night, that is still kind of warm. Elizabeth Forte wants to know about the cats. Do you know anything about fish tanks? The cats are doing just fine. Fish, not really. I used to have tropical fish years ago, but I know they didn't last very long with me. I guess I didn't really know what I was doing. All right, we are at the 30-minute mark, so it is now time, drum roll, for the garage sale finds. There are not a lot of them. I'll let you know that right now, but what I do have is pretty interesting. I went to a total of 3 garage sales today, and I actually didn't bring everything up with me because a lot of the stuff I got was just clothes and a couple of pairs of shoes you probably wouldn't be interested in. Though I might be able to get the shoes out if anybody really twists my arm for it. All right, so the first thing I found, actually, this was both at the same garage sale. And I'll let you guys know what I paid for this because I kind of want your input on this. The first thing here is a brand new set of G-Skill Rip Draw DDR3 memory. You can see it right there. This is model number F3-2133C10D-16GXM. So what I have in here are 2 8-gigabyte sticks, and this is PC3 1700. So really good DDR3 memory. This is the memory that I actually had in this computer for a while and then switch it out for the Crucial Ballistic. I gave $15 for this, which I think was a really good deal. Actually, I know it was a really good deal because when I looked it up later online, this still sells new on Amazon for $65. And this is brand new, never been used. The guy that I bought it from said he bought it for his computer, his new build, and then he realized he needed DDR4. And of course, he waited too long and he couldn't return it. It's a little dusty, but still should be just fine. Okay, and the next thing I got is actually from that same person. I also paid $15 for this, which I don't know. I don't think I overpaid for it, but I think I probably could have chewed him down to 10. It's a behemoth. I'll let you know right now. It's a EVGA GeForce GTX 960. I am not sure if this is the 2 gigabyte or the 4 gigabyte model. You look on front here, you have 1 DVI port, you have an HDMI port there, and 3 display ports, which I find kind of odd that this would have display ports, 3 of them, and only 1 HDMI. I honestly thought it would have been the opposite, being display ports are used mainly in the professional or business realm. It looks good. The guy assured me that it works, but you know how that goes. The fans spin freely. It's a little dusty. You guys probably see the dust coming out of there. What did everybody say? Eric goes, that is a great deal. I paid around $60 for the one in my eBay haul. Okay. And again, I honestly don't know if this works. I'll probably do another video testing this out. I was originally going to put this in my Dell XPS 8700 to replace the R7 360 that I have in here now. But after doing further research, I'm actually better keeping that video card in there. Even though this one's technically better for gaming, the R7 360 is superior in every other realm. Video rendering. I'm trying to think what else it said, like HD video playback. So this will probably go in one of my customer systems. That's what I'm thinking right now. And let me look this up real quick if I can. I don't honestly know. I'm thinking this is probably the 2 gig model, but let's see. P4-3967-KR. And this may not give me the exact one. No. Okay. This is the 4 GB version. So yeah, that's even better. I was not expecting that. So you know what? I think I got a decent deal on it. So basically the way it worked was I got 2 for 30. So I'm assessing this one for 15 and that for 15. Eric said, I forgot you had the R7 in there. Yeah, that card has actually been really reliable. For an ATI card, the only fault I would say I've had with that is ATI's drivers. And if you guys have an ATI card, or now they call them AMD Radeon cards, you'll know what I'm talking about. They are nowhere near as vigilant with the updates as NVIDIA is. And when they do update, it could be hit or miss. There are times that I have to revert back to the old driver for things to work properly. Eric says, do you have an Optiplex with an i5 or i7? That could make a nice, decent gaming rig for someone. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have Optiplex 3020 sitting over there with a 3rd-gen i5. Probably where that card is going to go, because I have a client that is in desperate need of a new computer, and he wants something that is going to last him a really long time. And we talked about getting something locally or building a system. But I told him that if you want longevity, you really can't beat the Dell Optiplex series. I've not found any computer that lasts longer than Dell Optiplexes. And you guys may have had other experiences, but even pre-built systems, custom-built systems that you would build at home, to me, still don't even last as long. Dell really did a good job. And you got to remember, the Optiplex series was geared towards business and the professional games. So they're designed for the long haul. What are the connections on that card? It was 1 DVI, 1 HDMI, and 3 display ports. Got 3 of those there. Good, too. Okay. Well, Chris Bartlett's giving me an okay on that. Yeah, Eric said that would actually be good for your main rig. Again, I considered it, but after doing the research, I think I'm going to stick with the R7 360. Again, it's just better for what I use it for. Yes, this card is better for gaming, but I'm not a gamer. So for me to use this in my main rig, it would pretty much be going to waste. All right. Let me see what else we have here. I really honestly only have one other thing to show you. And again, garage sales are really light right now. And did this come from the same sale? No, this came from another garage sale. I actually got 2 of these. One was brand new in box sealed. The other one, somebody popped open, but is new as well. These were $3 a piece. I bargained them down to $2.50, so 2 for $5. And these are model Heat, HEAT-MC4. These are 400-watt plug-in heaters. It literally says here, always plug heater directly into wall. Never use an extension cord. And what they actually are, you probably have seen these on TV. They are little heaters. They're called the Handy heater. How do you like that? Handy heater. And literally, it plugs right into the wall. So basically, you'll plug this right into your AC current. You got a switch here to turn on and off. And then up here, you have settings for your temperature. And I tried it out. It does work, but it's not really designed to heat a huge space. This is probably good for a bathroom or something like that. It even has a speed and a timer setting. And I thought they were kind of cool. I remember seeing them last year for sale on TV. I don't think they were that much more, honestly. I think even brand new, if you bought them off the TV, they were maybe $15 or $20. But they're pretty cool. Again, they're not that powerful. They only use 400 watts. So you're not gonna, don't ever expect this to like heat up your entire 20 by 20 bedroom like this is. This is going to be mainly more for a bathroom, maybe a small office where, you don't have any other options. Date code on this, I love this. May, or the 51st week of 2016. So these are actually a little bit older than I thought, but heck, you know what? Stuff like this will sell. Now, I'm going to keep one of these because I do get cold in my bathroom, especially when I take a shower. So I'm going to keep one of these in there. But things like this will sell. You guys are always asking me, Matt, what can you buy from a garage sale and resell? This time of year, heaters. Last year, I bought a whole bunch of those Lasco tower heaters, the ones that look like tower fans, but they're heaters. Bought a bunch of those at a garage sale, paid $5 a piece for those, and I wound up selling those for $25 a piece. So you do the math. I made $20 profit a piece on those, and you find those things all day long. Garage sales, secondhand shops, thrift stores. Now, bear in mind, at thrift stores, they're going to want to charge you more than probably $5, but most garage sales, that's all they ask for things like this. Reviews for noobs. What shocks me with heaters are the ones made out of plastic that never melts. This is plastic for the most part. The only thing that's metal is the actual grate here. Again, I just don't think they get hot enough to melt. Now, okay. I thought so. If you put your nose to it, you can smell a faint smell of like creosote. So I think what they're doing is they're putting on like a flame resistant paint or a coating on here. And I think that's how it prevents it from melting or getting damaged. Because, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have did that a fourth time, but yeah, there's definitely something in the paint there on that plastic that I'm sure is on there to prevent it from catching fire and or melting. Eric goes, my thrift store haul will be postponed until next week. I went yesterday to check it out, but after going into hypoglycemic shock yesterday, I wasn't feeling up to doing the haul. Oh boy, yeah, I've been there myself. Hypoglycemia is a condition where you have too low of blood sugar. Yeah, I remember you were telling me about that. If you have that, you better have some candy bar or sugary drink next to you to bring it back up. When I used to be like that, and I was hypoglycemic in my younger days, I always kept like a Snickers or a Three Musketeers bar with me. So when I felt that coming on, I could eat that real quick and I would feel much better. They're made of PA6. I'll take your word for it, Eric. But yeah, there's definitely something on here that's made to last, I guess. Classic Mobile Home, I am down to 256. Awesome. I don't remember what you were last time, but I remember it was a lot more than that. That is great. I can't tell you how much it warms my heart that you are at least trying to follow my lifestyle plan. Again, it's not designed to work for everybody, and it won't work for everybody, but you can take what I've taught you guys here and augment it to work for your lifestyle. It was 280. Wow. 24 pounds. That is awesome. Now, that's great. And keep it up, man. If you can get down even more than that, more power to you. And like I said, just follow what I've been telling you guys this whole time. Augment it for your needs, and you'll be successful. Eric goes, I had donuts with me, but my stomach rejected and I ended up throwing up. Man, I'll tell you, there is something that you can bring with you that you can eat quickly and it won't upset your stomach and and it's actually good for you, and that's honey. Believe it or not, I had a few people back when I lived in New York. I knew a few people, I should say, that were good friends that had very sensitive stomachs that really couldn't eat a lot of the junk food or the refined sugars because it would make them ill. And they suffered from the same thing. They would get very low blood sugar. They would ingest a spoonful or two of honey, and that would bring their levels back up to where they needed to be, their blood sugar levels. And it also coats your stomach. It's very easy on your stomach. Yeah, I heard Eddie Money died. I honestly didn't know anything about him. I really can't comment on that. Oh, excuse me. Jelly beans, I used to eat them, but I don't because they're really bad for your teeth, honestly. They taste good though, but they're bad for you all around. So if you're eating jelly beans, please do it in moderation. Yes, Michael Garter. Yeah, please make sure you subscribe to Eric's channel. If you like my content, then chances are you're going to like his too. Yes, Eric, I know that Mary Poppins reference. I still wouldn't recommend using a spoonful of sugar though. Doesn't do a body good like they used to think it did. Chris Bartler loves licorice. Oh, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like it, and that's another thing that's actually very good for your stomach, supposedly. But I just don't like the taste of it. Oh, I am sorry, guys. I am just so congested tonight. Well, honestly, that is it for the garage sale finds. I did also buy a few clothing items and a nice pair of shoes. Where did I put those shoes? Oh, here they are. Here they are. Yeah. You guys can see my butt when I bend down. Ha 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 ha. Pick these up for $1. Some nice leather shoes. They're like dark brown, I guess. They are Dexter Comfort. I have no idea if these are good quality or not, but it does say leather lining. So leads me to believe that the rest of it is not real leather. And a good way to tell, from what I understand, if you have real leather, when they start to crinkle like that, if you see it start to peel, then it's what they call leatherette or bonded leather, which is basically it's fake leather that they bond to like a plastic material to make it look like leather. And if you look at it really close there, you can kind of tell that's what's happening here. You can see that there's a little bit peeling up there. I honestly didn't notice that when I got them, but for $1, I'm not going to complain. I mean, they're in fairly good shape. There's probably like a Walmart special or something. I'll wear them on Sunday. Another way to tell, believe it or not, put your nose up to it. Real leather shoes, you should be able to have that leather smell. And again, I'm not going to do it because I know these were worn, but if the inside's leather, if you don't know what leather smells like, smell the inside of your shoe and then the outside. And if they don't smell the same, then it's fake stuff. So yeah, I could definitely tell this is fake because the only thing I smell on here is shoe polish. But still, for $1, I'm not complaining. About $20 to buy them. If you're talking about the shoes, then yeah, I'm not surprised. I can't imagine they were really high end. But I needed a pair that color, and they're in good enough shape. I'll probably be able to wear them for a few months at least. Smell your shoes. Yeah. I'm not smelling the inside of those because I need to get some deodorizer and spray it in there for sure. Eric, if you get a chance, can you send a link to your channel? Actually, I might be able to do that real quick. Mind if I promote your channel real quick, Eric? Go for it. There you go, Mark. Just click on that link that I sent, and that goes right to Eric's channel. Hopefully, we can help him get some more subs too. I need to get my glasses fixed. You guys notice that my glasses are kind of going down on my nose like that, like an old man's. Hey, what you talking about? I actually need to get a new pair of glasses, but I just don't want to spend the money right now. Well, that's what we're going to try to get Eric some more subs. You know what? It's hit or miss with YouTube. You got to have the right content, and Eric sure does. I think I do to a lesser extent. Let me see. What are we at? 51 minutes. I think we are going to do just about an hour tonight. I am starting to run out of steam. My sinuses have been driving me crazy, and it's not just me. A lot of people in our area have been complaining about allergies. What does it say on the front of my shirt? What does it say? Comments 84. It's I think it was in it was a real cheap JC Penney shirt. I think it has something to do with the 84 Olympics, the bobsledding team. I probably should know the answer to that, but I don't. Honestly, I literally just bought this shirt because it was cheap and it fit me and it was the color that I wanted. What is better, Chipmunks or MASH? It's not a fair comparison, really. I mean, if I had to choose one, honestly, like what I'd rather watch on a daily basis would actually probably be MASH. But it's just not a fair comparison. I mean, you compare like MASH and Trapper John M.D. You know, they're two medical shows, whereas you have Alvin the Chipmunks, which is a cartoon. I do like MASH. I've seen every episode, as you can probably tell, more than once. And I was always a bigger fan of the later episodes because I liked Colonel Potter over Henry Blake, so Harry Morgan over McLean Stevenson. I like Trapper John, and I thought that between him and Mike Farrell, Honeycutt, I thought they were about even, but I absolutely could not stand Frank Burns. Larry Linville as Frank Burns. That character just nauseated me. I was a much bigger fan of Charles. And believe it or not, David Ogden Stiers, when he replaced, Larry Linville's character, he was actually in more episodes than Larry Linville was. I think by maybe 15 or 20. So that went on for a long time. What about mashed potatoes? Well, heck, I don't know anybody that doesn't like mashed potatoes, but I try to cut down on that because it's all carbs. Have I ever seen the movie MASH? Yes, I did, and I absolutely categorically hated it. I don't use that word much, but to me, it was too dark. You got to remember, the show had its dark moments. It had to. I mean, it was a war. It was sad, but for the most part, it was comedic without being dark and dreary. And the movie was not like that at all. The movie had some funny aspects to it, but it was just, to me, it was an hour and a half of potty humor at one point, and then just really bad, what's a good word for it? Just really bad, dark humor on the other end of the spectrum. Maybe that was just me, but it looks like Chris Bartlett agrees with me. I have seen After MASH. You know, it was funny. I thought it had its merits, but instinctively you knew it could be successful. After a show like MASH that was on the air at that time was the longest running comedy, well, comedy drama anyway. How could you have a sequel to be successful? I mean, it almost was like a recipe for disaster. I believe After MASH lasted for 2 seasons, maybe one and a half, and it was good while it was on, but I knew that it couldn't last. And you got to remember, I was very very young when that was on. Actually, when I think After MASH aired, I wasn't even born yet. Did After MASH actually last for 2 full seasons? Yes, it did. No, it didn't. I'm sorry. It was the first season was 21 episodes, but the second season was only 9. Looks like they cut it off halfway. So, season and a half definitely wasn't successful. Not sure about that one. Mark's asking about what helps TV stations, local TV stations merge together. I'm not sure. I'm not in that business, so I really couldn't say. All right, tubers. I think I'm gonna end it here tonight. YouTubers. I know someone told me they didn't like it when I said tubers, so I'll say YouTubers. We're about 56 minutes in. I'm just getting really tired. I think the questions are about done for tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming. Tomorrow will be day 5. Let's see if we can get some more momentum up for that. Please continue to like and subscribe. If you get a chance, go and visit Eric Brunhammer's channel, Classic Mobile Homes channel. And who am I forgetting? I think that was it. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.